It'd be nice one day when we're all in person.
If we were forced to face to face, I wouldn't be able to sit in my favorite cafe having coffee outside.
Right.
Okay, I think we're going to start the public hearing. As everyone knows, we are now on YouTube, so we're formally off and running. I wanted to reiterate something that we said as some people were coming in, and that is what this is designed is there's a public hearing now to hear from the public, and then during the steering committee tonight is the period to hear from board members. And if we should wait a bit, but if none of the public shows up and nobody comes to comment, then I think it is our suggestion that we end this meeting and just kind of wait for the follow-up, because again, the purpose of this one was really focused on hearing from the general public. Roberta, anything you want to add as chair of the budget committee to what I just said?
No, I can briefly explain. Well, I'll do it again tonight. I'll explain the process, but all of the items that you receive, the numbered lists, are going to be fleshed out. So it's not going to be, for purposes of discussion, we didn't want to write a novel. So Beverly and I sort of identified the item. If it was easily identified, we just put the name of it. If not, we put a little more of an explanation. But when it goes into the city planning website for the district needs, it will have a full paragraph or two, what it is, explaining who the stakeholders are, explaining who supports it, and why it's important to see.
Thank you, Roberta. Kristen, did you want to say something?
Yes, there's currently no one from the public register to attend this meeting.
For some reason, Mark said like one person was registered.
It's a Helen Rothenthal's office.
It's the who?
Helen Rothenthal.
Well, okay. So just to reiterate, if people have started to come in, and I see Mark coming in, this is a public hearing. It's designed for the public. The steering meeting is designed for board members to speak their mind. And I think what we're going to do is we'll wait a certain amount where we all feel comfortable. But if the community doesn't show up, then we're going to end this meeting, or I should say this public hearing, and we'll reconvene at 6:30, in which we will have a broad conversation with all community board members. Does anybody have any questions about that? Otherwise, it's 5:05. I think perhaps waiting till at least 5:10 before we would end the meeting would be preferred. Okay. Well, as a great Saturday Night Live sketch once said, talk amongst yourselves.
I just want to thank Roberta and Beverly for putting together such a clear and concise order of priorities. It's really helpful to be able to look at it in plain language, and I appreciate what Roberta just said about later on. The details will come as they're presented. So I'm very grateful for it's such a very clear list of priorities that I think it's going to be easier for our process.
Thank you. And I want to add one other thing, that this is not the complete list that will get sent. That we had agreed that we would just do the 20 top priorities for capital and 20 top priorities for expense, but every other need that the committees have sent to us to a document that will go both to the city planning and to the specific agency. So where Parks has more items than are on this list, as do several other transportation, several other committees, all of those items will go into a master list, fully fleshed with all the correct information. And hopefully this will all get put into a spreadsheet or a database that CD7 will own, and that we can then do follow-ups. So it's 6 months, if something gets done, we can mark that it's been done or whatever.
Great. Thank you. Christian, did you have another question or is that
Yes.
still? from
Any
before?
particular reason why amounts were not included?
Amounts,
Yes, as to budgetary amounts, as to how much we're asking for.
we don't always know the amounts. So often we don't.
I mean, I understand that for many items we don't, but I know that for others, we always had like a particular level of funding that we've been asking for.
If we have it, we'll put it into the,
Because for some things, that matters in terms of what priority I might rank them in.
I would just add that, Roberta took what came out of the committees and put on. I don't think a lot of the committees did that, or they could be wrong. So I think it could be a function of not having it from committees.
Yeah.
But if so, I'm sure she'd be willing to put in the numbers, but.
find that at some point, Michelle Beverly and I will finalize the final document and finalize putting it into the city planning has Beverly, Michelle and I attended a Zoom webinar on Tuesday explaining how to use the city planning website. And at the time that we're ready to enter it, we will get as much information as we can, including costs, including who the stakeholders are, including specific locations and any other details that need to be put with it.
Thank you.
City planning in the webinar made a statement that it was not required to have the cost information. In fact, most items that most districts put in do not. So it's not something that would impact negatively a request going forward.
It may be that in January, when we start hearing back from the agencies, that they tell us that they can't do it because it costs X or Y, but it's not a problem.
Thank you.
Hello. Also during the DCP training, they also highlighted that some items may be requests for sustainable funding. So if something has been already funded or has been proposed in a prior budgetary year, we can also just say, we want that to continue to be funded.
Okay, well, I'm just counting down to 5:10, but as a reminder for anybody who came a little bit late, this meeting is a meeting for the community to give their opinions on our budget. We have, and it is not for the community board members to speak. The steering tonight at 6:30, we're going to get right into that area. So if my suggestion is that at 5:10, which is in a minute, and Christian sees nobody else signed up, that we're going to end this meeting now and reconvene at 6:30 to start our steering and then have the board member conversation about this.
Stephen, what link will we use?
I believe there is a new link for steering. So there was a link for the board and there was a link for steering, and I'm in the system. And if you want, I'll be happy to sort of resend things out if anybody on here wants to resend. But there is a separate steering link for steering tonight. I'd also comment that since this was the community session, we may be more focused on board members. And I'm not going to say that we won't listen to any community people, particularly because we want to, but just pointing out that this was really set up specifically for the community to speak. And unfortunately, we haven't had a good show up.
Stephen, please resend the link. I don't see it.
Be happy
Thank
to,
you.
Robert.
Yes, thank you.
So with that, I'm going to end this meeting, everyone. Unless
Hold on, Stephen, there is an attendee. It's a phone number. I don't know who that is, but perhaps they want to speak.
Okay. Well, I'm going to randomly allow this person. Traditionally, we'd like to know who it is or to have some information. But since there's one person, I'm going to allow them. Yeah, can I?
Just a reminder, an hour before the meeting, we also get a reminder. So that steering link at 5:30 will be emailed to everybody.
Yes.
Hi, this is Natasha Kazmi. I'm on the phone.
Oh, okay. So Natasha, were you able to hear what I said?
I did.
Okay.
I'll call in at 6:30.
Great, well, okay. So I'm going to end this meeting, everyone, and we'll see everyone at 6:30. And
Bye, everyone.
we'll send Robert a new link. And if anybody else needs one, take a look now, but I'll send out, I'll go into steering and click some links so they're fresh in your inbox. Okay?
Bye.
Okay, goodbye. We'll see you
Bye-bye.
we'll see everyone at 6:30. Andrew, we're ending this and then we're going to steering at 6:30, okay?
Thank you.